Welcome to the 11th project of the 12 projects of Christmas. So happy to have you here tonight. We are going to make a treat box and a gift tag. Hopefully we'll have plenty of time for that. Our treat box was originally designed to hold 3 of the Lindor truffles. And then it will also hold 2 fun size candy bars and 6 of the Merci chocolates. So that is a great little box. You can put lots of little things in there. So we're going to be using the Time of Giving stamp set. And we'll also be using the Giving Gifts dies. And this is what those look like when you cut them out. And when you buy these two together bundled, you'll save 10%. They are on the last chance list. However, I didn't check the stamp set, but I did check the dies. They are not discounted. And they are still available. So, or they were earlier today when I checked. And then we'll also be using the tailor-made tags for our tag this evening. Go ahead and comment and let me know when you're here. And we will go ahead. I want to show you the these products are on page 61 of the July to December mini catalog. And when you bundle, you can get that for $45.75. All right. Hello, Laura. Thank you for joining. Sure hope you enjoy the projects tonight. I'm going to go ahead and just get started because we've got a lot to do. We're going to start with the stamping. And we've got a piece of cherry cobbler cardstock. And this cardstock is cut to 6.5 by 7. And we're going to stamp on this before we do anything else. Because we don't have any Christmas paper left. Everything's been discontinued. So we're going to use the snowflake stamp from the Time of Giving set. And that's this image right here. And we are going to randomly stamp that all over our cardstock. I don't know about you guys, but it is pouring right here at the moment. The rain is just coming down hard. Suzanne called a few moments ago to tell me that we actually have snow in the forecast for the 23rd of December through the 26th. So wouldn't it be fabulous if we could have a white Christmas? So I'm just rotating my cardstock and my stamp so that it doesn't look like it's all the same. And it also helps me to fit the images in. All right, so there we have our own designer series paper. So we'll set that stamp aside so I don't get ink everywhere. And then we're going to go ahead and bring up the Simply Scored scoring tool. And we're going to start on the 6.5 inch side. And let's see if you can see that. Yep. Okay. So we're going to score this at 1 1/4, 4 3/4, and 6. And then I'm going to rotate it clockwise, and I'm going to score on the 7-inch side at 1 1/4, 3 1/4, 4 1/2, and 6 1/2. Okay, and that's our scoring. Let's burnish on all those score lines. Hello, Tracy. Hello, Jennifer. Thank you for sharing. So let's get those all burnished. And we'll trim up our cardstock, and then we've got a little bit of die cutting to do on this piece. Okay, so this section that has this small 1/2 inch and then this 1 1/4 section, this is the top of our box. This 1/2 inch section is the glue tab, and we're going to get rid of most of that. So what I like to do with these is I like to turn it over on the back, and then I'll miter in this larger rectangle here, which is going to be the glue tab, on both ends. And then I'll cut up the score line to meet that mitered cut. And then that gives us our glue tab. Okay? Then I'm going to go to the top, and I'm going to cut up every one of these score lines. Okay, and then I'm going to remove this first one that's next to the glue tab. I'm going to cut right on the score line here and remove that whole 2 rectangle section. So we're cutting all that away. All right, then we're going to go ahead and go to the bottom, and we're going to cut up all of these score lines. And on these score lines, I'm going to cut on both sides of the score line. And that will remove some bulk from the bottom. So we'll just cut to the right and to the left of that score mark, and then I'll go back and cut out that little section, very tiny. All right, so now we're ready to do some trimming. We're going to bring in our Stampin' trimmer, and with the glue tab section, I'm going to fold over the glue tab. I've got the top section here. I'm going to put this into my trimmer, and at the 1/2 inch mark, wait a minute, move this larger piece out of the way. At the 1/2 inch mark, which is 2 marks in here, we're going to cut all of that off. Just going to slice that right off. Then I'm going to move to the bottom, and I'm going to fold up the 2 larger sections, get them out of my way. And with this one now, I'm just going to butt it up next to my 6-inch score mark there, which gives me 3/4 of an inch on my bottom tabs, and I'm going to cut those off. Okay. And then we can get rid of our trimmer. Move that out of the way. We're going to go back to the top of our box, and I'm going to take these 2 little tabs and I'm going to miter the edges. And that's so that my box flap can fold into the box top to close it up. So I'm just taking a small little wedge, and then I'm going to take a corner rounder, and I'm going to round those two corners on that larger tab. Okay. And then the last thing we need to do to this is put a finger notch in. And this is 2 inches wide, so I'm just going to give myself a little mark at 1 inch with my scoring tool. You can eyeball it if you like. I'm going to take a 1/2 inch circle punch. We don't carry these anymore, but I still use mine for all of my tabs, finger notches. And now our box base is ready for the die cut machine. Okay. So this is going to be our front panel, the one with the tab here. This is going to be the front panel. We're going to take the Giving Gifts die. Wait a minute. I thought I had all these pieces out, but apparently not. Okay, so I'm going to take this Giving Gifts die, and this is the Santa and his reindeer. And I'm going to center this in here the best I can. Top and bottom, left to right. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but just get it as close as you can. And I'm going to put a piece of Post-it tape in there. Then I'm going to bring over my Stampin' Cut and Emboss plate. I'm going to fold my side tab down. Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm going to fold the tab on the box top. I'm going to run this through the die cut machine. This way it barely fits. Okay, so we're going to put that on. Put our top plate on. We'll bring in the Stampin' and Cut and Emboss machine. And then we'll run this through. Okay, and I'm going to run it through front and back just to make sure it gives me a good cut. And then I've got the hole in my box. Okay, let's poke that out. This little curl here gets stuck. It's cut all the way through. It just wants to keep grabbing. Okay, so then you would take a piece of black cardstock. I highly recommend that when you're doing this one, you put adhesive sheet on the back. Okay. And this black piece, let me get that out of the way so I can see my measurements. This black piece is cut at 1 5/8 by 3 1/4. All right, so just need to make sure I've got all those pieces poked out of there. All right, then I'm going to put this in the center of my black cardstock with the adhesive sheet and press that down, and I'm going to run that through my die cut machine. Okay, but I've already done that for us, and this is what you will have when you do that. Okay, so then we're going to bring back in our box. Oh, hello, Cynthia. No worries. All we've done so far is do a little bit of stamping and all over stamping, and then a little trimming and die cutting. So we're going to take this now and we're going to put it right on top of our opening in our box. And because we made it a sticker with the adhesive sheets, we have no problems putting that down. All right, so that's what we have. Now, we don't want our treats to fall out, especially if we put something small in there. Maybe some wrapped peppermint puff candies, which I'm sure I have here somewhere. Not sure when I did the bag of those. I got a little bit of adhesive, it looks like, on that window sheet. So now I'm going to take some liquid glue. I'm going to go around the very outside edge of this. And I want to make sure that I keep it really close to the edge. But I don't want to put so much on that it's going to glop and show on the inside. And I'm also going to put a little bit on each deer. And Santa there. Then I'm going to take my adhesive sheet and I'm just going to lay that down on top. Okay, now I'm going to take a cloth. You can use a paper towel or whatever, and I'm going to wipe off that window sheet so you can't see any fingerprints. All right, now our box is ready to put together. Okay, so let's grab some tear and tape. And we're going to put a little bit of tear and tape right along the score line of our glue tab. Okay, give that a good burnish. I'm going to put a little bit of tear tape here and a little bit of tear tape on these small tabs, and then I need to pull out my tab here so I know which is the top and which is the bottom. Oh man, I did that wrong because I didn't have that out. Hang on. It's really good to pull your tab back up so you don't do this. See if we can get that to roll off of there without ripping, and we can't. Gosh darn it. Okay, don't do that. This is what you don't do. But they are the tabs inside the box, so don't be critical. Very gently. Pull that up. Okay. Now let's put our tear and tape on the right panels. Oh my gosh. I should have known that because these ones are mitered and the bottom ones are not mitered. Okay. Now we've got it right, and then we'll put some tear and tape on the inside of the bottom flap along the bottom. Okay? And we'll give that a good burnish. And then we'll take our take your pick tool and take off that backing. And I've got a little adhesive hanging over there, so I'll just flip that back with my finger. I'm going to fold on the second score line here and the first score line here, and those edges will meet up perfectly. Then I'm going to remove the tear tape on the small tab on this side and the small tab on this side. I'm going to fold in my top because it's easier for me. Then I'll fold in my side tabs, fold in the back tab that doesn't have any adhesive on it. Take the release paper off of the tear and tape there and seal that up. And now I can use my bone folder, or I can use one of my blocks to burnish that down and seal it up. Okay, so now if I want to put in my Merci chocolates, I can put in 2 rows of 3, and I still have plenty of room. I could actually put another Merci chocolate in there on the side if I wanted. Or you can add some Lindor truffles. I'm going to take a bow made with the gingham ribbon, black and white gingham ribbon. We're going to use a glue dot. And we'll add this to our box, and our treat box is finished. Just stick that up here on the top in the center, and there you have it. Quick and easy. Now, if you'd like to see, here is a box that I made with the snowflake die from the Giving Gifts dies. And I did this in Blushing Bride and used the silver foil, and this is the gray granite shimmer ribbon. Okay. If you have some of that deer, Peaceful Deer Designer Series paper, I made this box. So you've got that. Those boxes are pretty quick and easy. Okay. I hope you like that. Thank you. I'm glad you guys like those. All right, let's go ahead and make a quick tag using the same bundle and the same kind of idea. So this is the tag that we'll be making, and I've pre-done some of the steps. So I cut a tailor-made tag die. This is the largest of the squared dies here. The squared off corner. Okay, so I cut that out of basic white, thick. You want to use the thick. I originally did it using the thin, and you can do that, but if you're going to emboss it, it breaks down the fibers, and I still didn't think it was thick enough. So I used thick, and then I've run this through the Evergreen Forest 3D embossing folder, and all I did was I took that tag I put it in here where I thought I wanted it at the top of the trees, lined it up along the black line, closed it up, made sure that's where I wanted my trees to be, and ran it through the die cut machine with plate 1 and 4. Okay, so now I have this tag with a piece of cherry cobbler designer series paper, which you can use the leftover piece from the side when you cut your box. This is the size piece that you'll have left, plenty big enough to run some gift dies through. Okay, so just put it on like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to put it on our designer series paper, lay that down. Okay, then I'm going to grab, oh, I got to take this out. I'm going to take that giving gift die and I'm going to lay this on my grid paper. And I'm going to line that up like so. Then I'm going to take a piece of Post-it tape and without moving it, I'm going to set that down with my Post-it tape. And now I have one cohesive unit. Okay, then I'm going to put that on my cherry cobbler paper and I'm going to run that through the die cut machine. Okay, and if I want to run a bunch of tags, I would just run these all at once and just keep running them until I have as many as I need. All right, so I've got that, and here it is. Now I'm going to take this white evergreen tree and I'm going to bring in some scratch paper and the evening evergreen ink and my blending brush, because I thought that the white was a little stark. So I'm going to get the majority, or the first part of that off, and then I'm going to very gently, hardly pressing, go over my trees. And just blend on a little bit of color there. Okay, till I'm happy with the amount that I have. All right. So, happy with that. Then I'm going to take another piece of the basic black with the adhesive sheet. I'm going to run that giving gift die through there again. And then I've got this. Going to add this to my cherry cobbler tag. And again, I'm just going to set this on here. And the beauty of the adhesive sheets is that until you give it a good press, you can still pick it up and move it pretty easily. Okay, so I'm just going to set that down. That looks good. I got a little out of shape there on my edge, so I'm just going to use my tweezers, my Tick Your Pick tool to push that down where I want it. And I might need to pull this down just a titch. Okay, there we go. And then all we need to do is add this to our back. And again, we're going to use the liquid glue. I'm going to put some liquid glue up here. Go around the edge. A little bit on my deer. I don't want so much that it's going to ooze out, but I want enough to hold it. Okay. Now the tip here is to start on the whole end of your tag. Because this was run through the cut and emboss machine, it's stretched just a tiny bit. So line up your edges on this end. And that way, if you have just a little bit left on the other end, you can trim it off pretty easily. Okay, so that looks good. And then I'm going to take this and turn it over and use my bone folder and give that a good press. All right, now all I need to do is add my ribbon to the back. I thought I had a piece cut, but I don't see it here. So I'm going to take about 6 inches. Fold it in half. Because I'm going with these ends, I'm going through the back side. And then I'm just going to pull those through that loop. And then that gives me a nice finished edge on the front. All right, so there is our project. We've got a nice gift tag. And if you want more room to write than you've got here, then you can put another one of these tags that isn't embossed on the back side of this before you put the ribbon on. And you'll have a beautiful gift tag. So let me get this. And those are our projects tonight. What do you think? I'm so glad you all joined me. I had fun. Oh, that does it show up better this way? Well, let's see, because those don't, with the dark chocolate on the inside, you really can't see the front. There we go. That looks better. Anyway, there's the close-up of that box. This is the one with the designer series paper on it, but that's what it looks like. Very nice presentation to give as a little neighbor gift, teacher gift, thank you gift. All right. Now, here is the tag that I made to match, just in case you have some of the Peaceful Deer and you really like that gingham look. This is a matching set. I did up with the Peaceful Deer. And then if you, where did I do? I thought I did just a plain white one, but maybe I didn't. Okay, I guess I did it. All right. No, there's one more tag here. Oh, this one I stamped in Pool Party, some snowflakes in the background, but then I thought it got a little busy. You can't hardly tell it in the photo, but there we are. Hope you like those projects tonight. Thank you for joining me. I will be back with the final project of the 12 projects of Christmas on Tuesday evening at 7:45. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night.